cabin is essentially sterile and particle-free. The biggest risk is if someone enters or remains in that environment while unwell with a viral infection. This risk will be mitigated through the adoption of effective sanitization and personal hygiene protocols. The following measures will apply inside the cabin of the aircraft. No catering will be allowed. No magazines on board, sawubona, no more. The last row will be reserved for isolation of suspected cases. When we're in the aircraft, and then I explained to them that the last row, if you are suspected or you don't feel well and you are suspected, you'll be taken to the last row of the aircraft, which will be reserved for people with symptoms of COVID-19. Loading capacity for all airport buses must be limited to 70%, which will be 30 people inside the bus. So don't ask what will happen, because here at the airport there are many buses. So if you have reached 30, you go in, it drops you, it will come back, and there's no chance. As you will have seen, we took a bus to come here. But I know the media, you walked because you are fit. But we took a bus. Only 30 people inside that bus are allowed. You have seen inside that bus, there are sanitizers inside the bus, and even the handles will be disinfected at all times. On arrival, all passengers must be screened as they enter the terminal. On our inspection today, we observed a set of rules emanating from the regulated directives. Upon arrival at the airport, passengers must use drop-and-go facilities or public transport, as only passengers will be allowed into the terminal. Limited package options will be available. Baggage wrapping is now compulsory. Your bag will be wrapped, whether you like it or not. You will be wrapped at the airport for all check-in and so on. Airport entrances and access control, a number of access points have been closed at each airport. Please visit the airport company website. Now, when you come to the airport, it's not going to be business as usual as you know it. The entrances will be limited. It's not going to be like you know it all the time. And terminal entrance points should be used. Access to terminal buildings will be therefore restricted. Physical distancing rules will apply. Masks are compulsory. Port Health will conduct screening, as you have seen. When you jump from the Gautrain, immediately when you enter the airport, you'll be screened, you'll be sanitized. And if there is some suspicion, or you are hitting 38, whatever degree, you will be taken aside to fill a form, because you are a potential risk to all other passengers. Passengers must produce their business travel permission letters at the entrance. Passengers must produce business travel permission. You don't just rock up here. You must say, I've got the permission to travel to Durban for business, and this is what is happening. It is the passenger's responsibility to ensure that they have the necessary permission letter before they book a flight. Check-in. Passengers should check in online before going to the airport. I've explained all of that. Everything is going to happen online. Security checkpoint processes, we have seen that in demonstration at the airport. In boarding the aircraft, physical distancing rules will apply, and all of that. Masks are important for everybody in this airport. Disembarkation from aircraft, mask must continue. Mask is very important. I don't want to repeat the other day what the mask can do to you. But you must put on your mask all the time. It's very important that your mask must be on. I heard on radio this morning somebody was arguing when they were debating the outcome of the High Court yesterday. He was saying we must now challenge the mask in court. I said, "We Baba, This mask is helping us so that you don't get the droplets from Mbalula, who might be having COVID-19, and then it comes straight to you. So the mask helps you with that. Crowding close to the baggage carousels will not be permitted. Where we are, there will be no crowding here, as you know, and that there will be inspection conducted at OR Tambo, and the inspection encompassed the following. It encompasses the availability of and the proper usage of PPEs, various layers of airport exits, how the airport maintains the social distancing, witnessing the disinfection of the terminal building and highly populated areas, management of airport inbound and port health, public health, and so on. That is what we looked at today. Over and above the approval of the OR Tambo procedures, the SACA approved the procedures for Cape Town International and is currently reviewing the procedures for Kinshasa International. In terms of the readiness of the airlines, I would like to state that the airlines, including charters, have also submitted their procedures, which are being reviewed by SACA. These regulations and directives are there for the protection of all people, and we expect absolute compliance. We understand the need to gradually open the economy, and we are balancing it with safety and good health. I'm confident that our airports will play a central role in reigniting the economy, reconnecting our economic hubs while strictly operating under these conditions. Other people like to create a dichotomy between good health and economic growth of our country. Now, I wish to emphasize that we have taken both. The other one is not isolated from the other. The balancing act goes in tandem. But this is essentially a health matter. And this health matter visited us whilst we were faced with our own economic challenges. Economic challenges of lack of growth. Economic challenges of an economy that is in recession. Economic challenges of our economy that is in junk status. High rate of unemployment. Probably now, about 10 million to 20 million South Africans will be in the streets. You can understand the difficulties this country is facing because of this coronavirus, amplified by coronavirus. If most of our people will shed more jobs as a result of coronavirus. Now, people like to argue that what comes first? What comes first? It's not a question of what comes first. It is health all round, and health all round, but at the same time, the economy must open up. Now, this is the new normal. Nobody said we will not come back. We've got to come back under the conditions of COVID-19. President Ramaphosa, when he spoke to us for the first time about COVID-19 and announcing the shutdown for South Africa, he said the dark days are ahead of us. And that was when? In March. He said the dark days are ahead of us. And now we are in winter. And experts say you should have introduced shutdown in winter. How would we have known? Because we had to flatten the curve so that we are able, flattening the curve, to address the challenges that will come with COVID-19. But COVID-19 was never going to be postponed. And it was going to be with us as it is with us now. And it has even reached Diepsloot and Khayelitsha. The reason why I'm mentioning Diepsloot and Khayelitsha, not that it cannot reach Sandton, but Sandton can look after itself. But Diepsloot and Khayelitsha are entirely dependent on the state. in terms of living, in terms of their livelihood. They are unemployed, they don't work, they are cramped in shacks, and for their own survival, they are dependent on social welfare of the state. But Santin, even if I can have coronavirus, where I isolate, you won't even know. You will only know my funeral when I've succumbed to coronavirus. But I can look after myself. But that person there will not be. And the biggest worry now is that coronavirus have reached those levels. Now, when it reaches those levels, government must be in a position to look after those people. And that is what shutdown, among others, was meant to do, to be able to allow the state to build the necessary capacity to absorb the numbers that are going to come for people who will require from the state self-isolation and to be quarantined and to be looked after by the state. That capacity is there, but it will never be enough. And we've been together in this fight, and we should be together going forward. Government will never win it alone, and government will never do it alone. And that is why government must move with people. Even when we say the churches must open, our people still say, no, let them not open. That shows participatory process. Even when we open the airlines, our people ask, will it be safe to be in a plane for 2 hours to Cape Town? That's why we are talking about HEPA. Things you would have never known. What is HEPA? We are addressing the difficult questions of the risk that come with the opening of the airlines. There is no easy answer for anything. Even now, with the taxis, it's not easy. I've got pictures of taxis breaking the law of COVID-19, filling taxis to capacity, even 70%. Social distance in a taxi. If you've been in a taxi, you will know that is not enough. There is